So I think this will be the last part of my talk here in Matthew 13 concerning the parable, where I want to discuss this phrase, altogether finishing of the eon, which we find here in Matthew 13:39, where again the enemy sowing them is the diabolos, but the harvest is the altogether finishing of the eon, repeated again in verse 40 and then in verse 49. So this is important because it's emphasized 3 times. Oh, where, by the way, this is also the question of the men with Jesus in Matthew 24:3 concerning the altogether finishing of the eon, which all of these events in Matthew 13 take place, again, in the third watch time. Watch my previous videos. And this word, altogether finishing with the hyphen, is just one word containing the preposition soon, which puts a unique context to this. So the altogether finishing consummates everything at the conclusion of the present heavens and earth. Again, here, where then after the judgment of the left named, we enter a new heavens and earth. So then let's talk about the harvest, because we see the harvest is mentioned here concerning this timeline, as well as if we back up to verse 30. So now we see the context of the growing together of the grain and the darnel until the harvest, which again is at the altogether finishing of the eon. So this is the last harvest. We find connections to that parable in James chapter 5 here. So the land worker is receptively out-oriented towards the valuable fruit of the earthland, being far from grimming. This is the grimming. So far from grimming backs us way up to here. Till, as it were, he will take the morning and evening fruit. So the harvest mentioned back here, those harvesting and the cries that come into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth, completes everything here. So the harvest of the parable concerns the grain that is sown into the last leg of the right-left paradigm. When James talks about the day of slaughter, this is all great affliction, third watch time. You down deprive of right, you unalive the righteous one. The righteous one that's being referenced here are those of Matthew 25. Just as I talked about previously, my least brothers here come here, and then the cursed are here. Third, fourth watch time, right, left paradigm. Or when we back up, then the righteous will answer him saying, Lord, when did we perceive you hungering and nourished you? This is all happening in the third watch time. We're then down at the conclusion down here. Then it says, but the righteous into Aeonian life, where the cursed do not come into Aeonian life. So then the righteous here are also the same in the parable. Towards the conclusion, Matthew 13:43, then the righteous will brighten out forth as the sun in the regency of their Father. The one having ears, let him hear. So again, the righteous who will brighten out forth as the sun are referring to those in Matthew 25, the righteous, who come into Aeonian life last, who will brighten out as the sun in the regency, hence Matthew 25:34. A lot law accordingly the regency, having been prepared from you from the downcast of the cosmos, where we who come in prior, according to the upheading, Ephesians 1:10, which I talk about in other videos, accords with the regency from the downcast, or I'm sorry, before the downcast of the cosmos, where again in Matthew 25, it's from, not before. It's a different context right here. From the downcast of the cosmos. So when we come back to Matthew 13 again, when the grass germed and it's beginning to make its fruit, this is all third watch time contest. Concerning harvesting will already have been received according to previous harvest. In relationship to the third watch time would be the 30-fold fruit. So we see some 100, some 60, some 30, hence first watch time, second watch time, third watch time, where the lesser least is the third watch time, and then the 100-fold would be here, the beginning. So to wrap this up, the altogether finishing of the eon concerning this parable, or all these parables, beginning back here with verse 25, this is where it begins, the parable, or 24, points all to the third watch time context. All of this, even these interjectory parables, are all third watch time contexts. Where I think I'm going to make one more video after this talking about verse 30 and the binding first here of the Darnel. Thank you for watching. God bless.